Now, Angola, one of Africa's largest oil-producing countries, will exit OPEC over disagreements on oil production quotas. This announcement was made by Angola's oil minister, Diamantino Azevedo. Mr. Azevedo said the decision was not taken lightly, but OPEC membership no longer served the African country's interests. Mr. Ayodeji Stevens, Senior Energy Fellow, African Energy Council, joins us to unpack this and to tell us what the consequences and the implications of this are. Good afternoon, Mr. Ayodeji. It's good to have you on the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Ayodeji, could you just give us a bit of a background? What led to Angola's decision?
All right, so Angola basically made an economic decision. I was discussing this a while ago with a friend, and we're discussing, Angola is leaving OPEC, what impact could this have? Because for a country like Angola, whose economy is very dependent on, the revenues coming from its oil, and in recent years, the country has been experiencing imposition from OPEC to reduce its production quota. In the last meeting that was held in November, OPEC actually said that Angola has to further reduce its production quota to 1.11 million barrels per day. And for the country, that's not enough for the country. Now, the dynamics are a bit here and there, but we need to understand it, and I'm going to speak a bit on that. We'll see that Angola, OPEC says that Angola can only produce that because OPEC believes that that's the capacity Angola is able to work at. Now, Angola says that it needs a lot of investment for it to improve its infrastructure and for it to be able to enhance its economy. I mean, it's practically an economy that works based on the revenue from oil. Now, the country decided to pull out of OPEC. Why? Because they would need to produce more if they would be able to attract the kind of investment that is necessary for them to improve their infrastructure and also to be able to make the economy running. So basically, that's what the country did. It was an investment, an economic decision based on the kind of investment that is necessary to improve their production, and for them to also have the kind of revenue that will be able to help the economy to grow the way they want it to grow.
So what are the implications of this? We know that they say it's an economic decision and they are trying to avoid decline and they want to respect contracts. But what does it mean for the countries if they're dependent on this oil? And what does it mean for other oil-producing African countries around the bloc? Are they going to be towing this line?
All right, so in terms of how it affects the company and the implications of this, that will have to be, gauged on a case-by-case basis. What are the conditions of the country? But I'm going to speak on two African countries, Nigeria and Angola, because they are the largest producers of crude oil in Africa. Now, for Angola, what this means is that the country has made its stance known that want to go into an increase in production of oil. Now, before we even look at that, we need to look at what really happened that has led to this movement, even in the global space. First off, oil price has been reducing. Currently, it's about $70.35, and we see that this reduction is not favorable to even players in the oil and gas space because more can be done. During the Russian invasion of Ukraine, on that day, about that period, we saw that oil price suddenly increased to about $220, and this was, very good for players involved. Now it has reduced to 70. That's a massive cut in that. Then we have seen, and this has happened before, because in 2014 we saw that there was also a reduction in oil price. What led to that oil price? That reduction in oil price was that there was a breakthrough in shale oil production. So a lot of US guys started putting a lot of oil on the market, and demand remained flat, and therefore there was more like an excess supply of oil in the market. And economic forces just played in. When there is excess supply more than demand, then the price has to reduce. And that is the same thing that's happening. Currently, US guys are putting in a lot of oil in the market, and therefore demand is also flat, and therefore there is also a reduction in the price. So for Angola, that's not enough. While that the price also might reduce because Angola would have to produce more regardless of OPEC's imposition, because they are pulling out of OPEC, it means for them that they will be able to grow their economy the way they want to grow it. Now, they would also be able to build their infrastructure the way they want to build it. They will be able to attract the kind of investment the way they want to attract it, especially for the oil and gas space. Now, for Nigeria, it's something that the Nigerian government and those involved in this space, the hierarchies, need to think about. Oh, what does this mean for Nigeria? Because what it could mean is that, given that Angola has pulled out of OPEC, OPEC would say, oh, we want to increase the quota of some of our members for them to, have an increase. Recently, Nigeria actually had an increase in the last meeting that was held in November. But what that now means is that for Nigeria, are we able to take a cut if OPEC says we should take a cut, right? What would happen to our economy? Remember that we also have a substantial amount of revenue, coming into our economy. Actually, NNPC, which is in charge of the Nigerian Petroleum, is the biggest, it actually acts as the gate for the biggest influx of FX for the country. And we know the state of FX in the country, right? So how will this affect our economy? Would that lead to a reduction in the Naira value? Those are the implications of these and possible things. However, one of the things that we all need to watch out for is OPEC's reaction. We are waiting for OPEC reaction.
We're definitely going to be waiting for OPEC's reaction. Stephen, I know time is not our friend here. We'll have more time to discuss this maybe some other time. But Mr. Ayodeji Stephen, Senior Energy Fellow, African Energy Council, thank you so much for breaking this down for us and telling us what to expect as soon as Angola pulls out from OPEC. We'll keep track. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.